Fingers crossed it's going to work this time, guys. If it doesn't work on my laptop, I got my trusty handheld device here, so fingers crossed. How about our president building that wall? He's going to build that wall. He's going to build it so tall. Going to be able to see it from space, from the heavens above. Who do we got watching? Who do we got watching? And where are you watching from? Barbara, how you doing? Where are you watching from, Barbara? I'm always curious where people are watching from, because I know my audience is far and wide, and people from other countries. You guys like my hat forward? Should I wear it forward from now on? The reason why I wear it backwards is sometimes the lighting will like shade my eyes, you know, doing what a hat is supposed to do. And you can't see my face as well, so I tend to wear it backwards. But anyways, Barbara, you're watching from Baltimore. Lori from Cali. Robert from San Diego. Katie, where are you watching from, Katie? Mike from Alabama. Got Alabama in the house. You know, I really hope Trump does a rally in Alabama, because I would love to go to it. You know, to blow up the leftist narrative. Like, you know, all the Trump supporters are racist. Well, that's not true. So what else we got in the house? Texas. You guys see my dog walking around back there? You guys, you see this? See out my window there? I got a beautiful view of the lake, palm trees. The sun just set here in Florida. Some of you guys are still at work, I'm assuming. But hey, it's Friday. All right, we got a good little crowd watching. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, the most obvious thing, right? This national emergency that Trump has declared, which let's be honest, we all knew this was coming. We all knew from the very minute that he decided to shut the government down that they were going to fight him tooth and nail, just like they do with everything else. You know, the thing, here's the thing. The Democrats have shown us just how far they are willing to go to oppose this president, and it is laughable. They are all gas and no brakes right now. Did you guys see Beto O'Rourke the other night with that pathetic, what is it, counter rally that he did in El Paso, and you can hear the Trump rally just rumbling in the background? Beto is trash. Let me tell you, okay? First of all, this guy, his name is Robert. So he's just a big phony from the very beginning. He's goofy, he's awkward, and he's pandering to not even his constituents. He's pandering to people across the border who aren't even here, talking about walls end lives. They don't save lives, they end lives. As soon as he said that, I couldn't follow his logic any further. What are you talking about, Beto? Like, you're swinging for the fences. Like, this is the most nonsensical BS you could imagine. Tell me how walls end lives. Not only do walls not save lives, they actually end lives. The Democrats always swing the pendulum too far. What are you talking about? It's just like what they do with the whole abortion thing, with the women's rights. They're obsessed with abortion. Abortion, we love it. It's like, not only should abortion not be shamed, it's actually a noble act, and we should celebrate it. We actually need to be having cheerleaders out there high-fiving afterwards. It's all to oppose this president. There's no length that they are not willing to go to oppose him. And Beto O'Rourke with that statement, and then also him saying he wants to tear down the existing wall in El Paso. He talked about how walls end lives because people can't actually get here and they have to figure out another way, and they might spend more time in the desert. I'm like, so you're using the logic of people who are trying to enter the country illegally, not the logic of people who want to be protected. By that logic, that's like saying, Mike, you have locks and doors and windows and cameras on your house, and that's wrong because the people who want to break into your house now have to work that much harder to get in your house. That's the real problem. That's the real crime, is you made it harder for someone who wants to break into your house to actually break into your house. That is the Democrat logic. So And Nancy Pelosi, okay, she said, basically she threatened us with, again, what we've known they want to do all along. Like, well, what if, down the road we want to declare a national emergency to, take away your guns? It's like, we already knew that's what you wanted to do. Now, the reason why you're not going to be able to do that is because, for one, we're done with these leftist regimes. We don't want another leftist government, okay, a president. So there's one thing right there. Number two, it's the Second Amendment. Our right to bear arms is protected by that durable document called the Constitution. You're not taking our guns. Number three, we have a majority on the Supreme Court. You're not going to be legislating from the bench. You're not going to be able to take guns that way. But thanks for letting us know that that's what your agenda is. I mean, all you're really doing is proving that we're never going to vote a Democrat in again. They're licking at the chops. They're foaming at the mouth to gain power. They want to rule with an iron fist. They can't do it because there are conservatives and nationalists and traditionalists that it's like a game of tug of war, right? We were getting pulled way too far to the left. Trump came in and now it's pulling back to the right. The country is trending more centrist / conservative. So that's just fear mongering, and it's petty from Nancy Pelosi. But I love how Trump said, and I didn't watch the entirety of his speech, but I saw some sound bites from it, and I got the gist of what he was saying. Like, he's already thought this out. He's several steps ahead of the Democrats. He's been several steps ahead of them from the very beginning. How he knew, like, okay, we're going to get lawsuits. It's going to go to the Ninth Circus Court. Okay, it's going to ultimately end up in the hands of the Supreme Court, which there is a conservative majority. It's going to be even more of a conservative majority because Ruth Bader Ginsburg, let's just be honest, okay? Also, the whole notion that they're going to be able to push it and make it, carry it out past 2020, it sucks that the wall won't be able to be built sooner because it's going to be hung up in the court system, but this helps Trump going into 2020. He can campaign the exact same way that he did in 2016 on, hey, look, I'm trying to build this wall. Democrats are obstructing. Look where it's at. They're hung it up. They've hung it up. We've got angel moms galore. Angel moms are growing by the day. Unfortunately, we're trying to get this done. Democrat Party has become the party of late-term abortion, high taxes, open border, and crime. Open borders and crime. That's what the party has become. And while we're on the subject of Trump and this wall and, nationalism rising, this is not a phenomenon that's unique to the United States. I keep telling people, you need to pay attention to global politics. This is not unique here. Brazil just elected a right-wing populist candidate. Bolsonaro, I think is his name. Italy did the same thing. Italy's opposed to it. Do you think South Korea and Japan want open borders? No. All of these countries want to keep their national sovereignty. They want to keep their culture. They like their tradition. And around the world, these leftist secular governments are being rejected. People are pushing them away. They want nothing to do with it. So it's not just unique to the United States. We just so happen to have a freaking alpha male for a president right now. And the Democrats hate it. The more that they hate it, the more that I love it. That's just me, because personally, I despise the authoritarian left. They are constantly trying to tell everybody how to live their lives. They think they know what's best. They're like, oh, what we got to do is raise your taxes, and that's how we'll fix climate change. That's how we'll do it. We just got to raise your taxes and ban airplanes and farting cows, and we're going to put solar panels on every structure in the United States. You mean what you're saying is the government should control all structures in the United States? No. See, people aren't thinking like that, though. Okay, so I guess that's enough about the wall. You guys know what's going on with the wall. It's going to be hung up in the court system for a while, but Trump is going to be able to run on this in 2020. And the Democrats, they are all gas and no brakes. They are on a treadmill of insanity right now. They keep going. They keep going. It doesn't matter what it is. They have Trump derangement syndrome. It's the most unhealthy thing maybe ever that I've seen, where an otherwise sane and reasonable person abandons all logic to go oppose Trump. It's like, hey, I had a job, a nice stable life, and then a guy showed up to my work with a MAGA hat, and now I don't have a job. I'm getting evicted. I'm on TV. Like, I'm facing criminal charges. I think about Trump all day long, all night long. Anything he's for, I'm against. If Trump came out and cured cancer tomorrow, they'd say curing cancer is racist. They'll say he cured it wrong. They come up with all of these insane oppositions to him, and they always swing the pendulum too far. Just like I said with Beto O'Rourke, like, building a wall doesn't save lives. It actually ends lives. So stupid. So stupid. They've tripled down on stupid. It's just, you can't make it up. Sometimes it feels like we are living in some kind of cartoon or a video game. It feels like a cartoon. It's like, if you could imagine a cartoon, right? Donald Trump shows up and he punches the bully in the face. The bully is the left. They've been bullying America. They thought they had the upper hand. Then out of nowhere, here comes Trump. Boop, punches him in the face. He catches them off guard. And then they're like, wind up their fist to punch back. They're like, I'm going to punch you back. Trump knows that the punch is coming. He moves to one direction, and they punch so hard, and then they hit a wall. That's what it is. That's what the left is right now. They counter-punched so hard, they wound up that fist before they reached out to punch, and Trump just dodged it, and they punched a wall. And it's been happening over and over and over again for the last 2.5 years. It's like, my God. I have so many friends that are on the left, and they're so deranged. They're so deep in their hatred for Trump. They think about him around the clock, and I'm like, did you ever think that in your adult years, a man would be on your mind as much as Donald Trump is on your mind? Like, I had a friend literally bring it up on Valentine's Day, like sent some like silly little meme of Trump with the heart saying like, I'm going to build a wall for Valentine's Day. I'm like, you know, this is unhealthy, right? You think about this guy a lot. For you to say you hate him and dislike him so much, you think about him a lot. And by the way, where do you get these political talking points? There's just all these talking points that I hear from leftists and anti-Trumpers is always something that sounds like it came out of the mouth of Chris Cuomo or some talking head media pundit. It's all the same thing. They say the same thing over and over. And with this border security stuff, you know, one thing that and then I'll pivot away from border security. One thing that they talked about, and I think Jim Acosta brought it up today, he said, you know, the majority of heroin and meth and coke and all that, those actually come through ports of entry. You know, it's not because we don't have a wall. It's like, okay, Jim, got it, cool. So let's stop that, okay? Let's stop it. Let's shut it all down. Let's make sure that nothing comes through, no drugs get trafficked through legal ports of entry. If we can stop that, do you know what's going to happen then? They're going to flood it over where there's no wall, you idiot. So we need a wall for any of it to matter. That's like saying, hey, here's a door. We're going to set up a door in the middle of nowhere. The door is the legal port of entry. We need you to come through the door. But on either side of the door is open air. That's what they're talking about. Like, well, most of the drugs are actually coming through the door. Okay, well, let's put a lock on the door. All right, well, now they're just going to go around the door. Same thing. Trump has countered it all. He's like, well, with human trafficking, you can't bring that through a legal port of entry. You know, what are you going to tape someone underneath the hood of the car and drive in that you're trafficking? It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But, you know, it's all emotion, no logic with the left. Okay, so I'm going to move on real quick because I want to cover a couple of random things that have happened. I told you guys, try to do at least one live stream a week on Facebook. I would have done it yesterday. I'm glad I waited till today, but yesterday, you know, it's Valentine's Day. But I'm glad I did today because he declared the national emergency. So you guys saw that video I posted of Kamala Harris with going on the Breakfast Club and trying so hard to earn that black vote. Like, hey, my family's Jamaican. I listen to Tupac and Snoop. I'm one of you guys. Have you ever seen a picture of this woman's parents? Her mom is Indian, and her dad, although he's from Jamaica, he still looks Indian. She's only black because it's convenient to be black right now, right? That's what's in. That's what's trending. You know, between her pretending to be black, Sean King pretending to be black, Rachel Dolezal pretending to be black. I thought being black was hard. If being black is so hard, why do white liberals want to be black? Riddle me that. I don't get it. You want to be black so bad, but being black is also like oppressing and like, you know, the white man's after black people. You're getting shot. So it's like, Sean King, you're a white guy. You want to be black? Doesn't that mean you're vulnerable to getting shot for no reason? There I was eating a Snickers bar, and then this cop came and thought it was a gun, and I got shot 100 times. And that's what's happening to all black people in America. Between that and Elizabeth Warren, they're failing so hard. And then it's just pandering, guys. This is what it is. All of these candidates that are running for president are just pandering. You know, Kamala Harris pretending to be black, Cory Booker talking about he's vegan and all of this. Who cares? Nobody cares that you're vegan. That's more interesting than it is important. But you think it's interesting. Like, you're pandering to vegans? Really? What percentage of the population are vegans? Some of you might be vegans. That's fine. There's nothing against vegans. But why pander to vegans? Do you just assume that all vegans are Democrat? What's the point of saying that you're vegan? It's like, what's her name? Kristen Sinema. This was the funniest story, okay? Kristen Sinema, who won, she won a Senate seat in Arizona, right? And they said, Kristen Sinema is actually going to be the first ever openly bisexual senator. I'm like, why do I know this right now? This is weird. The first bisexual, like, why is that important? So you're the first very horny person to be a senator. Cool. Horny and undecided person. That's cool. It's not like first lesbian or first gay man. It's like either or, but I'm the first. That's weird. That is weird stuff. But that's that intersectional identity politics stuff that they do on the left, and it's weird and it's creepy, and I'm so glad to get away from it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't think the most important thing about me is my skin color or my gender or my height or anything else. It's all about what's in here, what the Lord gave me, and that's that. I don't see any reason to highlight someone who's Muslim or African or whatever. None of that's important. It's interesting, cool. Yeah. I don't care what color my mailman is. I don't care what color my mechanic is, the guy that fixes my sink. I don't care what you do, who you are. I care that you get the job done. All that other stuff is interesting, cool. But stop trying to pander and try to prop up these, you know, these shallow, superficial qualities about people. Speaking of Muslims and all that, let's talk about these freshman Democrats. I love how disruptive they are. Okay, the three most disruptive Democrats right now are Ilhan Omar. Oh my gosh, Minnesota, what a piece of work she is. For those of you watching in Minnesota, I don't know what you guys did. I don't know. I'm just happy I got away from there, because she's dangerous. She's very dangerous. And she seems very like spiteful, unhinged, just angry. Every other week she's in the news about something. I'm like, when are you going to get to actual policy? All you're doing is showing us how angry you are and how you're going to be a one-term congresswoman. That's how I see it. But she's unhinged. She's crazy. The other one in Michigan, Rashida Tlaib, talking about we're going to impeach the mother effer. And what are you doing? What policies are you putting forth? Like, your constituents are either really dumb, which they might be if they vote for you, or they're really pissed that you haven't done anything. AOC, you know, the top dog of the left. She's a darling of the left with her Green New Deal. You know, it's pretty scary that there were enough people who supported her and thought that they bought into her like pie in the sky Green New Deal. Like, everyone's getting everything free. Literally everything is going to be free. We're going to have racial equity. We're going to redistribute all the wealth. We're going to take all the white people's money. We're going to give it to you, and your life is going to be better because government said so. I'm like, it's almost as if she campaigned to toddlers, because her pie in the sky dream, this little Marxist utopian society she wants to build, who's actually buying that? Who's like, you know what, I think I'm going to vote for her, because she said we're going to fix everything in 10 years. And if we don't, we're dead 2 years after that. Because, you know, she said the world's ending in 12 years. This 29-year-old who spent 15 minutes in the world seems to know everything about the world. So she's like, we're fixing it all. We're going to do it all. You know, why do we need to care about being factually correct? All we need to do is worry about being morally right. And it feels good to pass this bill. Doesn't matter if it does good. It feels good. It makes me feel good and warm and fuzzy on the inside. And I feel moral and virtuous. So I want to pass this legislation. This is another reason why I cannot be on the left. They're just no common sense, no logic, no reason. So as you know, as we've all known, as I even knew before I became a conservative, or before I had a YouTube channel, for everything, pretty much after Trump won the election and they started saying, oh, he colluded with Russia, as a Russian hoax. I'm like, from the very beginning, with absolutely no facts, no information, I was like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I saw how he won. I saw he won the Electoral College fair and square. I mean, he campaigned on a certain message. I think you guys are just a little unhinged. You guys are you're crazy. So from the very beginning, I knew that that was fake. But even now that it's come out that it is actually fake, it never happened. The last thing we need is for Robert Mueller to just come forward and say, yeah, I got nothing. Everything else has turned up empty. There was no meat on any of the bones. They overturned everything. They found nothing. You know, they went after Roger Stone, Michael Cohen. They went after everything, but they could not connect Trump to Russia. So they've all but let it go. They can't let it go because they've already arrived at the conclusion that he did it, that he colluded with Russia. They put the wagon before the horse. They're like, in my mind, he's guilty. I know that he's guilty, even though no evidence points to it. I've already arrived at the conclusion that he's guilty. So we need to find a way to make him guilty. We need to fulfill this prophecy. That's what it is. They don't care about the truth. They care about the end game and the end result. And the end result is Trump is guilty. But this is all just perfect. This lines up for 2020. Even if Trump were like doing less of a great job than he's doing now, his physical presence in the White House lifts the entire veil of the left. It shows everybody. Everybody knows who the left is now. So people who still want to support them, people who are going to vote blue no matter who in 2020, go for it. But you know that you're voting for crazy. You know that you're not voting for somebody. You're voting against somebody. So go for it. Because this Russian hoax thing is fake, but they're going to just triple down on it. They're going to dig their heels in, and they're going to say, I don't care that all the evidence is in front of me. He's still guilty. That's what the left has become. That's what it's become. I'll skip over that one. Actually, hold on. See, I'm going through a little list here, stuff that I wrote down. I can't keep up with it all, guys, so I have to just I have to write it all down. That's how crazy things are. So I want to get you guys' take on this. There's a Republican, I guess he's a congressman, named Drew Ferguson. Now, this story came out, I want to say yesterday or the day before, and I don't know why it hasn't caught fire, but it was actually on CNN, where Drew Ferguson had, and I think he's a congressman in Georgia. In his office, he has a book, some book from the Civil War times, from back in the day, where it's open it's open and it's displayed in a glass case, and it's open to a page with Andrew Jackson saying a bunch of racist stuff like African Americans are much better off here than they were in Africa, and we gotta whip them into shape so they can be better people. It's just something vile. And somebody found out about it, and now he's been forced to apologize. Of course, they said he should resign. And I don't know why the left isn't pouncing on this. I'm surprised, because he's a Republican. You know, it's only racist if you're a Republican, right? democratic racism doesn't exist, except that it does, and that's the only real racism. But it's actually not the only real racism, because this guy's a Republican, and I'm disgusted by it. You know, he tried to deny it and say that he had no idea it was there. He didn't know that it was open to that page. He pretty much shifted blame to his staff, and his staff denied it too. But it still falls on him, because it's like, how long has that been in your office? And the fact that it's a book and it's open up to a page that displays some very hateful, bigoted things, like, it's deliberate, right? So why would you do that? Why is that where you stand? And it just goes to show you that, you know, we do still have a problem with racism in this country, and it's not left or right. I think there's a difference between the racism on the left and the racism on the right. It should be condemned no matter what side it's coming from. I wish people on the left would realize that, because they don't call out their own unless it's politically convenient, like all the presidential candidates saying Ralph Northam should resign, but now they're walking it back. Nobody's saying anything. They just kind of dropped it. But on the right, it's like outwardly racist. You know, I feel like the difference is, on the left with the ideology, they want to pass policy based on the soft bigotry of low expectations. They expect less from minorities. They're kind of like the wolves in sheep's clothing. They either don't know they're racist, or they pretend to not know that they're racist. You know, whenever somebody would say something like, "Hey, brother, how you doing, brother?" or like trying to talk to me in some kind of slang, like they think that that's a way to connect with me, like I don't have a brain or something like that. Those kinds of things I feel like happens on the left a lot. Calling people of color, and like, the left, by its very definition and their ideology, they are divided. They're divided against the right, but they're divided amongst themselves, because they have this like intersectional hierarchy of blacks, Muslims, LGBT, women, Hispanic women, Asian women, black women. They're always dividing and hyphenating things on the left. And to me, that is the definition of racism. That's racism, it's sexism, it's everything else. That's what they do over there. But on the right, I feel like the racism is like very blunt. Like in this example with Drew Ferguson, it's like, I've got a book that says what I feel, and it's like open in your face. Or someone would actually spray paint inward or something like that. It's all wrong, but I feel like we're still dealing with it. And I would be the biggest hypocrite in the world if I didn't say something about this guy, Drew Ferguson, because he's a Republican and he's clearly a racist. But it's like, I don't know if he should resign, because I don't know that he should be forced to apologize. I really don't think that forcing someone to apologize does anything. I don't think he should apologize. Why? Why should he apologize? Because you tell him to? If he were sorry, he probably would. If he felt bad about it, then he probably wouldn't have done it in the first place. But the very first thing he did was blame it on someone else. He didn't say, "Oh my God, I had no idea. I feel bad. This is the worst. Let's burn the book." Instead, he's like, I didn't know it was there. Someone else must have put it there. So he's not even denying that the claim, or the perception of him is that he's a racist. So I mean, I just had to bring that up. I didn't want to make a full video on it, but I would be a hypocrite if I call out the left every day for how they're racist, but I don't call out the right when they're acts of racism. So, and I don't know what you guys think about it. I can't read all of your comments, but you can comment on the video after. So yeah, guys, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't want the live streams to ever be too long, because I like when people can go back and rewatch them, and they're more likely to rewatch a live stream if it's not like 2 hours long. But I mean, I guess I'll end it on a high note. Like, let's talk about the left and how far they've gone. You would think that they would learn from Trump with the way that they pander and how fake they are. They're so scripted and rehearsed, and it comes off as so disingenuous and stiff. Why can't they just learn from Trump? Why can't they just be chill? Like, Trump can relate to the common man. He has a sense of humor. He's witty. He likes McDonald's. He likes what the common man likes. He talks to people in a way that they can understand. He doesn't talk in some like elitist speak, you know. And I feel like that's kind of the culture over there on the left. You would think that they would learn from that. Like, put forth a genuine candidate. Why are you putting up Elizabeth Warren? How many people are going to get out of this clown car and run for president? I said in my live stream on YouTube the other day, they should all run collectively against the president and put their brains together and run against him, which is essentially them lining up like bowling pins so he can knock them over one by one, because there's not a single one of them that can beat him. Not a single one. It's not even going to be close. He'll embarrass every last one of them because they've already given him a stick to beat them with. Every single one of them has gaffed on something, whether you're talking about Cory Booker and Spartacus, Kamala Harris sleeping her way to the top in California, comparing ICE to the Ku Klux Klan. You got Beto O'Rourke with his rally and his fake name. His name is Robert. And then the most obvious, Pocahontas. There's just so many. They're racing to the bottom is what they're doing. They're racing to the bottom. But it just seems really funny that they haven't learned anything. Instead, they're just on this constant treadmill. They're opposing everything Trump is for. Everything this man stands for, they oppose. If Trump came out tomorrow and said, I've decided I will get a dog. I think I'm going to get a golden retriever. You would have liberals and leftists taking their dogs to the pound. Like, I can't have a golden retriever anymore. I'm sorry. This is the dog of white supremacy. I am done with golden retrievers, okay? We're done. We're ripping up pictures. Sorry, Falcon, we got to take you to the animal shelter. We're not doing it anymore. That's how crazy they are. It sounds like hyperbole, but it's literally crazy. That's what they are. Trump could say, I love this style of pizza. And the left would be like, nope, I'm done with pizza. I cannot do anything, eat anything that has Donald Trump on it. I see Donald Trump in the little pepperoni slices every time I eat that pizza now. That is how insane they are. Trump derangement syndrome is not healthy. They got to do something about it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you. If you want to donate, I'll put a link in the description of this afterwards. Enjoy your weekend. Let's make America great again. And share this video. Share it, guys. I'll catch you later.